Hello everybody, thank you for joining me today on my first gig right here on Patreon for a bonus episode, the first bonus episode of the Stars of the Irish Comedy Scene series that's going to keep you ticking over from now well into the new year as we get ready for season 4. If you haven't listened to the season 3 finale last week with Phil Jupitus, check it out now. It's a bumper extended episode, so go check it out. And of course, all of season 1, all of season 2, and all of season 3 is up there now, all 30 episodes. But I appreciate you being here and listening to this. The first guest on the series is the fantastic Jim Elliott. Jim Elliott, originally from Washington DC in the States, speaks about his first ever gig that took place over in the States, but he has been a member of the Dublin comedy scene for well over a decade now, a staple everywhere you go. First gig with Jim many years ago, although we do have some confusion over if or when we ever first met. Some say we never did, you know what I mean? But here we are anyway. Look, not going to keep the intros too long. If you're subscribed to Patreon, I'm assuming that you're already following online, but just in case, My First Gig Pod across all social media. Check out all 30 of the back episodes, and thank you for joining on this special as we sit down and enjoy My First Gig with Jim Elliott. I didn't realise until I nearly died one time there that the backdrop isn't against the wall.
Nope. There's a good 2.5 feet for you to fall into.
I went thankfully I was on my feet, but
yeah,
I pushed right back.
You tried to lean on it.
My brain didn't understand what was going on. Yep. His powers. As I know everybody in this series, do you remember when we met?
Not specifically.
No.
Not specific. Like, it would have...
I have such a terrible memory.
I have a fucking awful memory. And I also think that COVID has made it way worse. I think COVID has made, not specifically my memory worse, but my face name blindness. You know what I mean? Which I would have struggled with at the best of times.
Oh, yeah, I'm not good at that at all.
Like, I'm pretty good with faces, meaning I know you from somewhere.
Yeah.
But I'm not great at putting 2 and 2 together, especially if the place I met you is not the place I meet you now.
Right.
Like, if you're a comic and every time I see you is at a comedy club and I run into you at a wedding, it's going to take me 20 minutes. And you'll be asking me questions about comedy and I'll be like, wow, this fan knows a lot about local Dublin comedy rooms. Who the fuck is this person? I know this guy. Then I'll be like, we gigged together last week. Like, so face and place is tough for me. And I think COVID, all of us being locked inside for 2 years, I think that made it much. I fucking ran into my wife's father's brother and his 2 kids. So, okay, father's brother, fine. That's just a guy in his 50s, a Dubliner. But his 2 kids I've known for a decade, and I know them. And I ran into 3 of them on the street, and they were like, how's it going? And I had no idea who they were. I had no idea. And then I came home, and I was like, oh, Patter's brother, Sean said he saw you. And I'm like, that's who that was.
As long as you have no giveaways that you didn't know.
I mean, I do a lot of... hey, Chief. What's up, big guy?
Pal.
Hey, look who's looking good. Look at you. You know, no names, nothing, no context. But first time.
Oh, did we tease you? I'm sorry, that's just a little teaser of what's going on over at Patreon. My First Gig, Season 3 has concluded. All 30 episodes of Season 1, 2, and 3 are up here on this feed, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, and of course on Acast. But if you want to hear more, the Stars of the Irish Comedy Scene series has kicked off over at patreon.com/My First Gig, including the episode that you're listening to now. So if you want them, go over and subscribe. Please, you know? Who wants bonus episodes? I know you do, because you're here. But we took it away from you. It's the equivalent of when you're on a news article and that little paywall just fades things to white. I'm fading to white, baby. Patreon.com/My First Gig pod. Thank you.
It's the My First Gig podcast. Whoa.